Welcome to the Marriage Be Like podcast. We're your hosts, Kenny
and Kenya.
And we are so glad that you are joining us today. Listen, this podcast is here to discuss love and relationships, life topics, and how to navigate through it all.
Disclaimer, we are not specialists or counselors or professionals in these fields. We are a married couple who've got 27 years of life experiences under our belt. We hope to open some discussions, build communication, and plant some seeds. So sit back, enjoy, and let's have a conversation and grow together.
Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage Be Like podcast. I am Kenny.
I'm Kenya.
Listen, if you are joining us for the first time, we want to say welcome and thank you so much for listening, for checking us out. Last month's episodes dealt with Black history, Black love, and the 5 love languages. Yeah. So what are we going to go forward with this time?
Well, today we're talking about arguing.
Arguing. Okay.
Some people call it fighting.
Some people call it fighting. Well, what did we say last week? We said it was a passionate conversation.
Yes, that is what we said.
Maybe a disagreement would be a good word to use too. So anyway.
Yeah, so the year is rolling by, but this month we're celebrating Women's History Month here in the U.S.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So that's pretty cool. It recognizes the wonderful role. Let me just say one more time, the wonderful role that women play in American history. Plus, it continues to highlight all the achievements and contributions that we've made in the world.
Okay. Listen, so as we celebrate women in history, we also celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th.
Yes.
Okay. So, and do we have any kind of fact we want to share about that?
International Women's Day is a day not only to celebrate women around the world, so not just in the U.S., but literally around the world. It also brings awareness to women's rights.
Okay.
So reproductive rights, which, in the U.S. we've had quite an issue here recently.
Quite an argument.
Gender equality, violence, and abuse against women. So it's not just a celebration of women and all that we've done. It also is bringing awareness to the fight that women have still to this day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I applaud the woman who continues to fight.
That is correct.
So fight on.
We are fighters by nature. That's what we do.
Just don't fight with me.
We're going to get what we need from everybody in the world. Yes. Yeah. So in light of Women's History Month and International Women's Day, tell all the women around you that you love them and appreciate them for all the things that they've done in your life.
Yes. So tell your mom and them, your aunties, your sister, grandmama and them.
Yeah, your people, your tribe.
Yeah.
The women around you, the women who raised you.
Let them know, I love you.
Teachers, so on and so forth.
I love you.
Everybody's got great women in their life that they can lean on,
Yes.
And if not, find someone that you may admire.
Yeah. Okay.
How about that?
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So what are we arguing about today?
It's not going to cause an argument. Okay. So the next couple episodes, we're going to be discussing arguing and handling conflicts in our marriages. And today we're specifically talking about arguing. So according to the dictionary, an exchange of diverging or opposite views, typically a heated or angry one.
See, that's the issue I have with it. That's the issue I have with it, right? So, you normally get 2 or 3 or 4, some depending on the word, definitions.
This one's 2.
This one is 2. Okay.
What's the next one, babe?
The next one is a reason or a set of reasons given with the aim of persuading others that an action or idea is right or wrong.
Yes.
That's my argument. That's it.
Yes. All right. So what key things in this definition stuck out to you?
Okay. So
since you didn't like the first one,
well, yeah, what bothered me is that I don't think that arguments have to be heated or angry.
Oh, okay. We got the same point then. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't. That's the issue that I have. And I guess that's kind of the point of these next episodes, to try to figure out how we can have a argument
Yeah,
without it being heated or angry.
correct.
Yeah. How can I share my point of view, right? Or persuade you?
Right. And that's the whole thing. And even in a debate,
Yeah.
it's a matter of persuasion. And even the win.
A win?
I'm just saying debate in general, but it's as far as like honestly heated and angry bothered me. I didn't expect that to be there.
Yeah, I mean,
It sounded bad.
So what makes me feel good about this is that we both felt the same way about
Yeah.
about heated and angry. I mean, because we might have in the past had some pretty heated arguments, but now it's not. Our tones are a little different.
That's true.
Than normal conversations, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we defined what argument, right? An exchange of diverging or opposite views, and points that we are trying to use to persuade each other where we are going, right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Well, I'll stick with the second one. I like the second one better because that means that keeps things smooth. You know what I mean? I like smooth discussions.
That's true. I think it also takes a level of maturity to get there, though.
Oh, how many years have we been married? Huh? Sorry, 27. I know.
Yes,
come on now.
yes. I was just gonna sit here and wait.
But it has taken us, I won't say 27 years because it's been a few years that we have really kind of developed the tools and
that's true. Those first 10 years though. Whew.
Yeah, man, you didn't know how to argue for nobody.
Huh? I'm sorry. What? What'd you say?
What did I say? What did I say? Just want to make sure we are on the same page. What happened now?
Yeah. So what are the top things that couples argue about?
Oh, I mean, like
money and bills.
I think that's one of the top ones. Particularly early on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still trying to navigate your way.
Absolutely, because you coming together and putting that money together when you've had your money separate because you were single.
Or trying to figure out how to make it work.
Yes, that's true. Trying to figure out who works best with money.
Yeah.
That's a challenge within itself.
Yes. Who's
going to be the shopper and who you're going to have to watch. All those kinds of things come into play. Who's going to buy the most for the kids? And, there's so many variables that come into it. And you don't know many of that until you're together. In it. It's not the same when you are engaged. Separate. Yeah, because you're still even if you live in the same house.
Yeah.
There's still some changes when you decide to get a joint checking account or so on and so on and share the things that you have in your life. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So sex and intimacy.
Yeah. And I think, I kind of feel like, we talk about sex and intimacy, the argument initially is, from the male's perspective, hey, where is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not getting what I need out of this. But then as things grow and you mature, the tables turn.
Yeah. Tables turn.
Because what a woman's
changes.
Yeah.
That's true. So, but then also, again, in growth, you may want something different later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Energy levels change because kids are grown and gone. And before you were trying to juggle extra stuff, and parenting's a large thing to juggle.
You know what? So let me say this. I know as an example of how sex and intimacy, and you would say that right there on the surface, but there's also a level of, can I say, I don't want to use the word jealousy or envy, but because of the amount of time that a mother, particularly a new mother, spends with their children, a man may feel a little neglected.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
You see what I mean? And so that becomes a situation
Yeah.
where we're trying to figure out, hey, how can we fix this? Because
That's
we
true.
were all about each other, and now you
Until
got
the
to,
kid came.
yeah, and now
And
suddenly,
it doesn't mean to happen. It's just someone else in the life who takes up space in your life. And
Yeah.
that's just how nature goes. So
Mhm.
then trying to make sure that your spouse is first and that the intimacy and the sex is still great is a challenge.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I believe that that's really high on the list of arguments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Doing chores.
Yeah.
You're now sharing a house and having roles.
I felt some kind of way last week when you were talking about me washing dishes. Was it last week or the week before? It was part of 5 love languages.
Why did you feel some kind of way?
Because you said that, you stopped asking me because you realized that I wasn't going to do it anyway.
That is correct. So I still don't understand why you feel some kind of way.
Well, because I don't want you to, I don't want you to assume what I'm going to do or
You
presume
never did it.
that I'm going to.
You never did it. So I felt some kind of way. And I was like, you know what? I give up. I'll fight some other battle.
I've washed a dish or two.
All right, go on, try to take the victim. You have to shoot. Like I said, this is not going to cause an argument. This is not.
And you know what? I don't hate washing dishes.
You just strongly dislike it?
I don't know.
Because I don't like washing dishes. Let me make that clear. This is not something I just adore doing.
I get it.
It's necessary.
Yeah, just like I don't adore cutting the grass, right? But you
got to do it. It's necessary, right?
When you say babe, see, that's one of the ones, babe. It's like, oh,
say it a little bit stronger.
But I don't know. I think that my issue with washing dishes is really just it's got to be done a particular way, and
do it your way. I'm not going to be in the kitchen with you.
Yeah, but
you can do it tomorrow.
No, I'm not.
I finished them today.
I'm not.
I'm giving you the opportunity, but you don't have to feel bad or some kind of way.
I said I'm not.
And this is why I stopped asking you.
My hands, they gotta.
I know you're not trying to get prissy.
I'm not that way. Sorry, I'm just playing.
Trying to be bougie on washing dishes.
I'm just playing. What else do we argue about? Because we just argued about washing dishes.
Okay, couples in general.
Yeah.
Also, what we discussed, parenting and kids, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
how you parent.
Yeah, but that was from a perspective of how that affects intimacy.
True.
Yeah. So, how you parent.
Because sometimes you don't know how you parent until you parent.
That's right.
You have all these ideas. Yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this because I was raised this way and I want to bring this into my family and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then that kid comes and you're just looking at that kid stumped.
Yeah.
Then you have to create, okay, so how do I really want to do this? And you know what? I thought I wanted to do this, but that didn't work on this kid. So let's see.
Because they don't come with
back to the drawing board.
They don't come with an owner's manual.
No, they don't. And each kid is different. You can't even have the same stuff for the same kid. You can't do everyone the same. You can have certain rules that may apply to everybody, and how you enforce those rules will be different per personality.
Yeah. I guess when we get to parenting, because I'm sure that's going to be a deeper episode, right?
Yeah.
When we get to parenting, we can talk about how it's important to know or at least observe what works with our children, right?
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess we may argue about our methods.
Yes. And yeah, that's true. Methods and
I guess in a little bit we'll talk about it because I talked about washing dishes and stuff, but I'll save what bothered me for a little later.
Okay. So another one is communication.
Yes,
not communicating. Communication is a big one in arguments in marriage.
You're the one who argues. I don't have an issue with communication.
Because you don't like to communicate.
No,
you just sit there. Is that what you mean by I argue?
No, you argue. You always have an issue with us communicating, our
Because you
communication.
don't communicate properly.
But I never have a problem with it.
That is not cool. You don't get brownie points for that. So if you think that's what's happening, the answer is no.
Okay.
You should say that you communicate well because you've learned how I communicate and we work well together in communication. So folks, he just admitted he's still learning a lot on communication.
I tell you, every day is a learning experience for me.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes,
So
it is.
communication.
This podcast will get you right, Kenny. How about that?
Yeah, I listen to it every week. And I'm trying to learn.
You take notes?
Yeah. You should see my notes. It got red and green all over it.
Oh Lord.
Anyway.
All right. So family members and friends.
But okay. So let's see. Those are
them?
Well, no. They're grouped together because you're talking about external stimuli or external sources of stress.
Yeah.
So we can talk about how family members, hey, you got a brother to get on my nerves. You know what I mean? Your brother gets on my nerves.
In a good way. Joel, he talking about you.
Yeah.
I know my brother listens, so shout out to my brother Joel Goodwin.
What's going on, bro? You get on my nerves, though. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, you'll get punched in the chest for that next time he sees you. Okay, so do you agree with the list?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, this is not an all-encompassing list. I'm sure that there are other things that come up.
Oh, yeah, there are more. I picked the top ones that I found everywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty much any website says these things.
Yeah. I mean,
just about everywhere said money and bills.
Yeah. I mean,
which I knew was going to be first.
I believe that that is definitely top. Sex and intimacy was another one up top. And maybe communication. I would probably put communication at number 3.
Okay.
Instead of way down on this list that you got at number 5 or something like that. So I would put communication higher, just because, just because that's where, I mean, we're figuring out how to navigate life together.
Yeah.
And it takes communication and, and communication encompasses so much in our relationships.
Yes.
It's not just about me telling you what I'm doing or what my work schedule is, or you know what I'm saying? It's much more than that.
I mean, because even day to day, your work schedule shouldn't change. If I'm expecting you home at 6 o'clock and then you don't make it home till 7, I'm wondering, well, what happened? I know he gets off at such and such. So
but I'm a grown man.
You are a grown man, but the communication won't allow me to worry. You could also be a grown man in a car accident and I don't know.
This is absolutely true.
Okay. So, so your list was money, bills, then sex and intimacy, then communication. Those are your top 3.
Yeah, that was my top 3. Yeah.
Okay. My top 3, well, yeah, I would say in the past, mine was money, communication, and parenting because our children were younger and we had to parent them. Now we don't.
Yeah.
So, but today, communication is key.
Communication.
Like I don't even hardly have anything else after that. I want you to communicate, and I want to communicate. And I think that if you keep that first, then everything else will fall in line. We don't have to argue about sex and intimacy because I told you what I want and you told me what you wanted. We don't have to argue about chores. You know what I mean? Because we've all communicated. So all those things will already come to play. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think communication is probably, between you and I about the biggest thing, because I agree. I'm not the best communicator. I do know that. And particularly if I'm out doing something, working, And I've said this before.
You'll forget to tell me stuff on the schedule. I'll be like, now.
Well, see, and this is why I love my iPhone, y'all, because if I'm doing something, I can put it on a calendar and I share that with you.
That is correct.
So you can see that. That's my way of communicating.
Agreed. Except you got to actually put it on there.
I do.
The iPhone can only tell me what you put on there.
I do.
You do. And then you forget sometimes. And then we have problems.
Wow.
So then I have to ask, okay, so what's your schedule for today, babe?
Yeah. See, you heard that one? That babe? That's what I'm talking about. The different types of babes. The different types of babe. Like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes, because there may be something you left out on a Tuesday that was on, that should be on the schedule that wasn't on the schedule. So I ask you to pull it out so that we can make sure there's nothing missing. Doctor's appointments, everything has to be on there.
Yes, I agree now. I agree.
Business schedule, everything.
So I try my best to communicate by putting things on the calendar, and that way you can see it immediately.
That's correct.
Immediately.
And I accept that form of communication. That actually works for me. It may not work for some, but it actually works for me.
Well, I am happy that it works for you, because then guess what?
You putting some on there now?
Yes, right. No.
Shame.
Yeah. So, hey, if that makes you happy, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, text messages, I'll accept it all. I just need to know what's happening. I don't want to be guessing. And not that I'm just controlling, because that's not it. But, let's say if I have a doctor's appointment, but you had a date in your head scheduled and you didn't say nothing. Well, see, we already got a problem.
Yeah.
I took off work so that we could have a lunch date. Well, I'm at the doctor. So see, that schedule isn't working out. So communication is key.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Okay. So, you ready to go to a segment?
Yes.
All right. What I love about you.
What I love about you.
All right. Go ahead, babe.
All right. So since you insist, I will go first. But after we remind everyone what we're doing this for, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Now, which is really weird, because, you're so big on communication, and you're failing.
No, you're not trying to call me out.
Anyway.
Yes, for our listening audience.
Yes. So the segment is really to kind of spark communication with your spouse. Just give you an opportunity to share. And this particular one is designed really to help us, find new ways to express our love to each other. Right. So what I love about you. And this week, we do this every week, right? And we come up with something new.
Right. We don't do this particular segment every week, but yes.
Okay. So
this one comes every other week.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but we do a segment. The point is, we do a segment so that you can build communication and start conversations with your spouse.
Yes. All right. So you ready?
Yes.
All right. Because I'm ready.
Dog, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh,
I'm teasing.
Better write that down. Okay. Here's mine. What I love about you. You have this, I guess I could call it a happy dance.
Oh, I do.
You got this happy dance. And
I got a couple of them.
And dare I say, it is so goofy.
It's supposed to be goofy.
I mean, because wow. I mean, it's when you're eating and you're enjoying your meal, you got that little dance where your head goes back and forth. And I'm like,
I don't even realize it sometimes.
I'm like, there she go again.
Somebody called me out recently, and I was like, oh, am I dancing?
But but the reason why I love that is because sometimes if we're not talking, if we're and not by on purpose, right? It's just nothing's being said at that moment. It's easy to tell where your emotion is.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And I'd be honest with you. I mean, the first thing I said was when we first did this segment was that I love your smile.
Yes.
Right. And I said that if there's not a smile on your face, because you tend to walk around with this perpetual smile, right? If there's not a smile on your face, then I feel like something's wrong. I actually read your body language every moment that I see you.
I give good body language.
So and then there are times when
not even realizing it.
There are times when it gets a little confusing to me, and then I'm like, uh-oh, what's really going on, right? So anyway, but I like your happy dance. That's
funny. I don't even consider people watching me or even Like I said, I don't realize I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
I just do.
I mean, but and that means then that it's coming from deep down inside. Deep down inside,
We were eating with couples one day, and someone else was doing a happy dance when they were eating. I was
yes.
like, oh, it's not just me.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. But that's one thing that I used to do. When we go out to potlucks or whatever.
Yes.
And I'd eat. I get food drunk.
Yes, chocolate wasted.
I mean, it's I know it sounds terrible, but it's kind of the that euphoria you feel after I've eaten. Sometimes I become a totally different person.
Yes.
So anyway, all right, your turn, babe. Your turn.
Okay, so my turn. I like how chill you are.
How chill I am. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you said earlier, you talked about how I'm the one who argues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the one who tends to have a lot to say. But I'm happy oftentimes because you are chill. And so both of us can't be yelling.
Oh.
Both of us can't be heated and angry. Is that what he said up there?
Yeah.
Right. But then also, even when those are not the cases, you are chill just in situations where I may be like, oh my goodness. And I may see something different and you just be like, okay. And half the time you're probably still processing it. But the point is, that's not the point. The point is that you're chill and that helps me to calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm chill like that.
So that's what I love about you, babe.
Okay. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome, babe. Oh, and thanks, babe, that you like my.
Yeah,
did
after
you say
I said that,
my silly dance.
I did. This is the segment. What I love about you. Okay.
You called it goofy. I call it silly.
I did say goofy, but I love the goofiness. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, all right.
Thanks, babe. Appreciate it.
Thank you, babe.
All right, so let's recap.
Babe.
Just so that we know, babe. Let's recap what we discussed as far as what couples argue about.
Okay. All right.
They argue about money and bills.
Money and bills.
Sex and intimacy. Chores. Kids and parenting.
Parenting and kids.
Communication. Friends and family.
Family and friends. Sorry, I just had to repeat everything you said.
Yes. Okay, so why do couples argue? Why must it be an argument? So we have the topics.
Yeah.
As to what may cause the arguments, but why does it have to be an argument?
Okay. All right.
Why argue?
I think arguments arise or they become arguments because I need you to hear my point.
Yeah.
I need you to see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Especially and I think the other part of it is that we are anticipating that we're going to face opposition to our opinion or
you're anticipating
our belief.
That is correct. Yep.
I think that you're not going to agree with me on this, so I'm ready for that smoke.
Right. You're anticipating defensiveness.
Yeah.
A quick clap back.
Yeah. Coming from the queen of sarcasm.
So you had to say that. I was just, giving an example.
You're self-proclaimed.
I was giving an example.
You are self-proclaimed.
I wasn't directly talking about me.
You are self-proclaimed. So I'm not saying anything you didn't know or already already acknowledge and manifest.
Yeah,
so,
guilty as charged.
Yeah, so there.
All right, so why do couples argue? Why must it be an argument? What's your answer?
Well, again, like I said, I think I need to be heard. But also I think there's an element of selfishness too. I know this is not anything. I don't think I've had to think about this. I've never had that thought of it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
I never did that with you, right?
No, I have with you.
Yeah.
I can confess that.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say something, but no.
I said I can confess. I have with you. It wasn't a consistent thing. It was just, this is how it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to things of the house. And if I'm managing the house, then there was a time where I felt like, well, I don't know why you even got an opinion about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. But, I grew up
Okay.
and realized I was wrong.
We grown now. We grown now. But I think when you ask that question, why must it be an argument? Because and I think I have an issue with the question overall because it doesn't have to be an argument.
Right.
You know,
it doesn't.
It doesn't have to be an argument because this is where learning keys to effective communication comes in.
Correct.
Comes into play, and then that's where we should be able to discuss whatever opposing views we have.
What about when you're mad, when you're frustrated?
Well, now,
because these are the things that cause arguments. When your feelings are hurt, one person's feelings are hurt, and then you say something. Well, now both of y'all feelings is hurt.
Yeah. You're right.
Uncontrolled emotions. You might have had a rough day at work, and here comes an argument. Well, you know what? Now I'm not even trying to control my emotions. I'm hurt. I'm frustrated from work, and traffic drove me nuts on the way home. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So many things can come into factor at the time of a let's say heated discussion or an argument. So I think that there are also outside things that happen as well.
Oh, wow. But that goes back almost to what you say, what we were talking about, what couples argue about.
Yeah.
We said friends and family, but again, those external forces that have an impact on what is happening.
Correct.
What happens on my job?
Yeah.
I might not be mad at you.
Right.
Right.
You're just upset because something happened on the job.
Yeah.
Well, then now that affects me because I'm your spouse.
Yeah.
And you brought that home.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't calm down listening to classical music on the way home. Or whatever the case.
Yeah. Yeah. So man, there's so many things, and it may not even be the issue at hand.
True. True. It could be something very small that can cause an argument. Didn't make no sense.
Yes.
The next day, what was we arguing about?
Oh man.
Why did that even,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I one thing that I learned about us, I'm going to do my best not to argue about much of anything.
Oh. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, do I argue much about?
No, you don't.
Because I believe that.
But I didn't know you were purposely doing that.
Now, and it's not because I'm like, you know what, this is how I handle it. It's not about that, right? Because I've heard someone say, well, just say yes to everything she says.
That's not going to work for me.
That's not going to work, right?
That's not. It might work for some, but it's actually not going to work for me.
Yeah, that's not the point. There are things that I feel like are where I value this point, and in the grand scheme of things, there aren't very many things that I value more than just really having a nice, good, smooth
conversation.
Yeah. and I don't want.
Those are valuable.
Those are valuable.
Yes.
And so and it's not that I bottle anything up. If I have a disagreement, within me that I feel like needs to be, I could share that. But I mean, I don't. After a while, I tell you what, just knowing that I got you by my side is enough, and all the rest really.
And oftentimes things work themselves out.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, now that doesn't mean that we can't. But that doesn't mean, and I don't want that to feel like we're saying that just don't do anything about it, right?
No.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's what I've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I come with several things. But I don't like to argue. I don't like to be frustrated. I like to be on the happier side of life.
Yes.
I don't like to be stressed either. So when I do come and we have to have a discussion, I try to I pick my battles. So if I see something that's happening today, I'm like, I'm not going, because I know this, that, and the other, and this would definitely cause an argument today. So I'll wait till it comes up again. You know what? This may be a better time to do it. Does that make sense?
I understand what
So
you're
I pick
saying.
and choose. I'm not going down that hill today. Maybe next
Right,
week.
right. I mean, but I, do you ever feel like there are times when you say, "Hey, you know what? I missed the opportunity to have that conversation," or maybe if I had this conversation a week or two ago, then he wouldn't have done this two more
No,
times.
I have not come to that. And I say that because if it's a lesson, it'll come back around anyway.
Okay.
That's just how it's been in our experience. Um, and sometimes them lessons be coming back to back.
Yeah.
And why would I pick a fight or why would I try to bring things up? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Every day. That's no. Mm-mm.
No. Ooh.
Ain't nobody trying to do that. Again, I don't like stress. So
Yeah.
that does not work for me. And it's not necessarily to say that you have directly done something. That's not the case. It could just be something that you didn't pay attention to that came up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be something simple. So yeah, I just wait it out sometimes just because I don't want to. It could be a topic that may be close and dear to your heart that I could care less about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you give more passion. I'm like, you know what? You ain't got to give all that passion towards it.
Yeah.
It could be something so simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'll just wait it out. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we definitely different because I'm gonna tell you what, I don't put that much thought into it.
Right. That's why I said I like your chill.
Is this a big deal? No. Okay. Well, let's move on then.
I'll just kind of make a mental note and I'll keep moving. And then there are times where you can't make that mental note. You have to just go ahead and say it.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to make sure that it's at a decent time of the day. I try to make sure that I come correctly to you. I can't say I do that when I feel like my feelings are hurt now. That's a whole different situation.
So
I do try.
I feel like we have to say. I feel like we have to say this, right? I mean, these resolutions that we have come to, with regard to how we handle conflict in our marriage. I mean, after 27 years, is because we have learned each other to the point where we know how the other is going to respond to different things.
This is true. Yes.
Right. Because early on, my bigger thing was you come to me and I get defensive right off the top.
Yes.
I mean, I would just...
I couldn't say nothing.
No. Don't bring that to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I was gonna say something.
So,
you ain't about to silence me. I'm gonna bring it to you.
Right. So I don't want to give the misconception that this is how we walked into.
No, absolutely not. I said earlier that the first 10 years was not like this.
Right. Right.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Maybe more than 10, but anyway.
Them first 10, they were rough.
They were rough. I was hard-headed, y'all.
They were rough. Yeah, and I felt like I was right all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can admit that.
Okay.
And since you said you were hard-headed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hard-headed. She was right all the time. So imagine that. She's trying to tell me something. Yeah.
Yeah, that made for great communication.
Great communication. Anyway.
Yeah, so then eventually we just kind of learned each other too.
Yeah.
So and it took some growing up. It took learning to communicate with our kids as well to kind of help us communicate better with each other.
Yeah.
Because our kids are different. So yeah, I think it takes it all. Just like they say it takes a village, it actually does in many ways.
So I think we should share some do's and don'ts. But before we do that, can we play a game real quick?
Let's play a game.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Da-da-da-da! You got it.
I did it right this time.
Okay, this game is Who Does It Better?
Who does it better?
All right. Go ahead, start. What you got?
All right. Who plays sports better?
I taught Michael Jordan. I just had to.
Oh my goodness!
Back when he was in North Carolina.
Who lied better. I said, sir.
Oh man.
Who plays sports better, babe?
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I actually have a story about that one. So, at our church, they're starting a co-ed volleyball team. So the guys were considering joining. And so they were asking me, and I was like, oh no, I can't play volleyball. I said, no, I'm a good serve. At least that's what I remember in middle school and high school. But I can't dodge the ball from my head to save my life.
no.
So we were watching a movie the other day, and the girl kept getting knocked in the head by the ball. I said, that was me.
Yeah, you can't catch a ball.
I can't catch. Yeah, I used to get knocked upside the head all the time in volleyball.
So
it was crazy. I had to learn to dodge it in dodgeball.
See,
yeah.
I mean, but this is I'm embarrassed. Don't say any more about this because I'm embarrassed now.
That's not my sport. It just wasn't.
Apparently, no sport is your sport.
Well,
so.
I ran track back in those days. I did pretty good there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I remember trying to teach you to play tennis.
Yeah, trying to teach you. See, it includes a ball. There's where you went wrong there.
Yeah, the number of tennis balls we lost. They just went the wrong way.
Mm-hmm,
okay, next. Da-da-da-da.
Who cuddles the best?
Now, how do we measure this?
I don't know. What do you think? Just a quick opinion. Say it on top of your head. Just blurt it out.
I don't know how to answer this. Who cuddles the best?
Yes,
I don't get it.
The best.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, so if we are, let's say, for instance, we're watching TV,
right?
Netflix and chill. Who's gonna cuddle first?
Does that mean they do it best? I don't know.
I'm just trying to get you to an answer. Dang.
I mean,
I don't know.
It depends on the day. You will. I just say that. You will. You do that. You do that. Do that. You come and you lay your head on my shoulder and
I thought you would say that you did because it's physical touch.
I mean, okay, but still, I don't. This question troubled me. Da-da-da-da. Move on.
For heaven's sakes. Well, if you say that I do, I'll pat my own back since it's physical touch and that's your love language. You know what? I do well. All right. So, who eats the most?
You do.
I probably do. You know what I thought about? I said, you know what? I might be the culprit here. I might be the problem. Especially for like once a day. I may not eat like all through the day, but when I sit and eat, it is on.
Yeah.
Period.
And I've got a new lifestyle now, so
true.
Mine is much different. Mine is much different. All right. So what's next then?
Who talks on the phone the most? Or who is on the phone? I won't even say talks. Who's on the phone the most?
No. Don't do that.
1, 2, 3. Say it. Just say it. Say it.
No, because it's two different things. Let's be on the phone or talks on the phone.
That's why I said talks. That's why I took out talks.
No, because
I said who talks on the phone the most, and then I said who's on the phone the most.
Right, but I have a problem with that.
What?
Because
it's a game.
Well, it is.
So I'm not sure why you in your feelings, why you have a problem with it. It's a game.
All right, I want you to answer the question.
Just supposed to just,
because
keep
I've
been answering the questions. Going. That's all it's for.
I've been answering the questions first all game, so this is your turn.
All right.
Who is it?
You on the phone. It's you.
Me?
It's you.
No. I know that's not. I mean,
if you didn't like my answer, you should have went first.
I mean, I do a lot of work, some manual labor, some on my computer.
It doesn't matter whether it's work because we both use our phone for work. I mean, I think that's just life in general today. It is 2025.
Okay.
So work and church and friends and family. Yeah. Social media.
Yeah, no, but every time I look up, you talking to somebody.
Yes.
You and Michelle.
Well, still, the point is, I think you use your phone the most, but it's not because you're just on the phone talking to people.
I'm working.
It's because you're working. Yes.
I'm working on it. Yep.
So you gonna stay at your feelings now? I mean, you've been in your feelings since the beginning of this show.
I'm not in my feelings. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Who talks the most? You. Yes. See how easy that was.
No, listen.
I do.
It's because
I talk the most.
Yeah, you talk the most because yeah. Because I've come home. Listen, I've come home, and then you want to talk, and I'm like,
you took all day getting home. There's a lot to say.
I mean, whoo.
There are
In
times
fact-
you're gone for so long, though. I just send text. Okay, 1, 2, or 3.
No,
These are the things I need to tell you.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this now. Yesterday,
Yes.
we went out to lunch.
Yes.
Yep. It was at a buffet.
Yes.
We sat down, and I couldn't understand why for the first 20 minutes we sat up in that restaurant, you sat there and
I
talked.
had to talk to you. I had to get it off my chest.
I'm sitting there like, you said you were starving.
I was starving, but you
And
know what? I couldn't
sitting
decide
here-
if I was hungry or if I had to get it off my chest. And when I sat
if
down,
you
that's
could
when
have
it hit
just
me.
stopped talking for just a minute, then you could have got something to eat. Go get your plate. Come back and you can finish talking. I guess maybe.
Once I got my plate, I would have been eating. But when I sat down, I was like, I need to get this off my chest first.
Did you ever hear that
And
joke?
then I'll eat.
You ever hear that joke? And I'll do this real quick, right? Where somebody said, hey, I can't understand why me and my husband are always arguing, right? And so their friend says, hey, well, listen, I tell you what, whenever your husband has a point and they're trying to make a point, how about you just drink some water? If he
Okay.
says something, drink some water. Every time he says something, you feel like he's going to make an argument, drink some water. So then she did that. And then she came back and she was like, wow, this was great. How did you know that was going to work? It was because when he said something, you can't talk when you're drinking water.
That's true.
Which means then that you are the problem. So.
You know what, Kid Great? Yeah, yesterday was a time I had to vent.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot going on, and I understood that. After the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this ain't going to end.
It's not till I'm done.
So
I sat there and I took a breath, and it was on. It just.
Yeah.
That's when it hit me, and I said, I have to get this off my chest.
I mean, yeah, we just sat there and.
But then I ate to my heart's desire afterwards.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. That was great.
All right,
that was great.
Our game.
I won. So
no
do's and don'ts.
You was in your feelings so much you didn't know who won. Do's and don'ts of arguing.
All right. So let's start off with don't.
Don't yell.
That's right. You know, sometimes you can say what you want, but say it right.
Keep your tone. Keep your tone.
Yeah. And don't bring up the past.
Don't bring up the past.
You're good for that.
Because now you about to argue for a whole lot longer.
You're good for that.
I heard you.
Oh. Just make sure that you understand.
Well, again, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
So don't make assumptions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenny.
I don't do that.
No, that's you. Don't make assumptions.
Okay.
All right. Don't be what?
Defensive.
Yeah, you've already confessed to it, so don't be defensive.
I don't do that no more. What? I've worked hard at that. Don't do that to me. I've worked hard at it.
Really try not to. I agree.
Okay.
All right. So don't complain.
That's right.
Why complain? You're here already discussing it, so don't complain.
Don't complain. Don't use aggressive language.
Yes. Don't use aggressive language. Find some adjectives that are more peaceful.
Probably spend a little more time on that one. Yeah.
Don't avoid talking about the problem.
Yeah, don't avoid.
Get to the root. Don't avoid talking about it.
Yeah, and sometimes we get sidetracked and
don't dance
go around it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you know, and you start talking about all the other things. You know, you talk about the symptoms and not the actual
problem. You can tippy toe, but just make sure you get on down to the grit.
Yeah. Don't intimidate.
Or put down. Yeah, that's abusive. So let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. You know, you used to put me down a lot.
Oh my goodness, not. I did not do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't have dismissive behavior.
Yes. Don't dismiss the other person's feelings.
Or opinions.
Yes, or opinions.
You know what?
Don't have dismissive behavior.
Yeah, I was
just being a jerk.
I was bad for that. I was. I don't do that no more, do I?
No, you don't. Like
But I
said,
did.
don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
That was directed at you.
Wow.
First 10 years, babe.
Yeah.
We've grown and learned.
Yep. All right.
Don't try to win.
Don't try to win. Yeah.
I know. You couldn't even finish your sentence. Don't don't try to win. The whole
this is the
point
game.
is discussing. No, this part is not the game. We're talking about the don'ts.
Trying to win the game.
That was the weakest ever because you knew you was wrong.
So what do we do then?
The things that you should do.
Yes. What should we do?
Yeah, you should fight in love.
Fight in love. You know, that sounds...
And I know, it sounds horrible. I know. But the arguing and the heated discussion part is what they mean by fight. So then being able to not argue, being able to not be heated. Don't allow yourself to go there. Right. And if you see the other person going there, bring it down a notch. Do it in love.
Yeah.
The whole discussion should be in love.
Yeah. Okay. And let's do choose your words wisely.
Yes. Carefully. So like we said before, don't have dismissive behavior. Don't use aggressive language. Do choose your words carefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Take a moment to cool down.
Yep.
Maybe don't talk about it right away.
Count to 10 or 100 or 1,000, however long it takes.
Or, if you have to wait it out till next week until you calm down so that you can fully give it the way it needs to be presented to your spouse in a calm, cool manner. And do it that way. Yeah.
Let's see. Be completely honest.
Yeah. Ain't no point in lying while we're arguing.
Because, it's going to come out later anyway.
It sure will. Mm-hmm.
It will come out later anyway.
So you may as well go ahead and get to the nitty gritty and be completely honest. Yeah.
And you know what? I think I want to delve into a little bit more next week of talking about this, because sometimes when we're arguing, we say things out of spite, knowing that we don't even mean that.
Yes.
And that's not being completely honest, right?
No, it's not.
Or we withhold
you don't even mean to sometimes, and it just comes out, and then you just go on and put 10 toes down. No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
You didn't mean to say it at first, but now no.
Just go ahead and apologize.
Yeah. You must also own your feelings and thoughts.
Yes. I feel this way.
Yes.
I feel hurt, or I feel like you blamed me, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Go ahead and own your feelings and your thoughts.
Because, we wouldn't be here if you didn't have those feelings, right?
Also true. All right. Communicate calmly. Yeah. It goes back to several of the ones we mentioned, but just remember to communicate calmly.
That's right.
If it's something you don't understand, if they said it, even if your spouse said it sideways and you're just like, wait a minute, hold on, let me make sure I'm clear.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just make sure that you communicate calmly.
Yeah. I before you, except after C.
Took us back. Yes.
I before you. Use I statements. Sorry, that was use I statements, and the reason why I say I before you is because if you say I, you're owning your feelings, you own how you feel about that. Correct. But if you say you made me feel this way, then that is pointing blame.
It is.
Yeah.
Avoid personal attacks
and
the blame game. There it is. The word blame.
I before you. All right, and acknowledge the other's feelings.
Yes, acknowledge the other person's feelings.
Yes.
And there are so many more things that you can do, you know, but these are just some. The list can go on and on and on. But, I think this basically sums up what not to do and then things that you can do to help progress the conversation and allow you all to come to an agreement. Because it's not about the win.
That's right.
It's about solving the problem.
Yes. Yeah. So then how do we change the argument into a discussion?
Yeah. Be willing to forgive. Let's start there. Oftentimes there is a blame game or when feelings are hurt. So be willing to forgive.
Yes.
Just go ahead and start there. Rather than be defensive, say, okay, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to take it calmly. Your spouse should give it to you calmly.
Right.
I had a problem with this week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Say, okay.
Yeah. Another thing to do is actively listen.
Actively listen.
Actively listen. That means now, you got to understand that actively listening means then sometimes you repeat back.
Yes. Yeah.
For clarity,
Sometimes the spouse got to get things off their chest.
Yeah.
And you have to sit there for 20 minutes and actively listen.
But you also don't bring up the past. And when you was talking about what you don't do to bring up the past.
The past was just yesterday. Yes, but actively listen. Strive to understand before being understood.
I think a lot of arguments are because I need you to hear my point.
Yes.
And
because
then
people see it as a debate.
Yes.
It's not a debate.
Yeah. And then
The end goal is completely different.
And until you hear my point, I can't hear yours. And
Yeah.
so then we're sitting there shouting at each other, different things. So
Yeah.
aim to find a solution, not just talk.
Right. There's no reason to just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
And we here 2 hours later and we still ain't found a solution. We still just talking in circles.
Fix it.
Yeah. It's stressful and it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
You could be doing so many things like sleep.
Yeah.
Fix the problem an hour ago and been in bed. Had a good time.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Assume good intentions.
Yes. Now that means, because we said earlier, don't make assumptions.
Correct.
But assume that when we have these discussions, that we are both on a path to resolution.
Yes.
Right. So then we have to assume that that's what we're trying to do together.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Do not sweat the small stuff.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's why I don't argue.
Yeah, if it's something small, it's just it's unneeded. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, you're wasting time over little things. Yes. You know what I mean? Spilled milk, right?
Right. Stay open-minded.
Yes. Yes.
Don't be closed-minded. Don't put yourself in a box.
The thing about
or your spouse.
Right. Let's put your spouse in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Not a physical box, right?
Right, not a physical box. But, just the mindset of it all.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. In order for a change to happen, you have to allow for change to happen.
Also true. You got to be willing to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, stay open-minded. All right.
How about being empathetic?
I have to know or put myself in your shoes.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't want you to do that to me. So
that's true.
So there. That's it.
All right. And speak in calm tones.
Yeah.
Speak in calm tones. I'm going to just say that, again, because everyone can get huffy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially if you're having an argument. But in order to turn it to a nice discussion, because it doesn't always have to be an argument.
No.
Speak in calm tones.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Speak in calm tones. Okay. I think I can do that.
Me too.
Listen, there is so much more that we are going to discuss. And so you're just going to have to catch us next week as we continue this conversation all about how to argue with your spouse.
Yes. Yes.
I don't even know why we name it this, how to argue with your spouse.
Because there's ways to do it. You want to use you want to use another word other than argue. That's what you mean?
I do.
So what you want to call it back?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Okay.
Because then when we talked about it, the definition of argument, I didn't like heated and
I didn't either.
Angry. So,
but lots of people have arguments.
Yes,
and we did in the past too. So if you call it something else, then
it's not. It may not.
That's correct.
Get it. Got it.
But being able to call it an argument and then turn it into a discussion is the goal here.
Okay.
You can start off arguing and then say, "Okay, hold on, I need a moment."
Yeah.
Let me calm down. Let me walk to the bathroom. Let me walk outside around the block, and I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. It's cool. That's cool. Well, listen, we're so glad that you have joined us today to figure out how we can stop arguing. Right. So a couple of things here. We want to thank you for listening on Envision Radio.
Yeah, we hope you all enjoyed this podcast today and learned some things.
That's right.
Put them into action.
Yes. So Thursdays, 4:00 Eastern, 3:00 Central Time on envision-radio.com. On Fridays, we actually post our podcast on our website and on
marriagebelike.com.
That's it. So check us out next week. Make sure that you share with your friends and family.
Correct.
Because we all need to figure out how we can stop arguing.
Yes. Right. And how we can communicate better and have good discussions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All of that too. Good discussions, not arguments.
Yes.
All right. Well,
you can check us out on anywhere where you listen to podcasts.
That's right.
Anywhere. Say that part.
Anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts. Right. Okay. So thank you so much. And we will catch you on the next episode of marriagebelike.com.
Bye-bye.